Hey folks, I'm here with Jason from JC Gaming Productions, and we're going to be doing a Swedish deck video today because it's been long overdue, and I know they got some pretty decent stuff because you use them quite a lot, don't you, Jace?
I do indeed, I do indeed.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, let's start. I'll name my deck, so it has to be IKEA, spelled incorrectly. This is just horrible. Okay, so the bonus selection for this, I'm only going to go just for the nation bonus, you know. I don't want to go too heavy on that. You get +7 activation points with that. It's pretty good.
It's more than enough.
I know. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's see what they got logistics-wise. Okay, so straight away I can see it's quite limited. So, I don't know, man. Definitely have to put the FOB in.
Yeah, obviously the FOB.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever look at the helicopter they've got compared to the truck, it's pretty poor.
Pretty poor. Only carries 50 more.
So I'd probably just go with 2 sets of trucks because obviously you get extra activation points. So I'd have two sets of 16.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. And then for my command vehicle, I'm gonna go for the Strf BV 3021. It comes with a 20 mil, dude. That's just awesome. You know, this thing's gonna be able to hold its own against like T-55s, etc. You don't want to take too many hits with it, but yeah, and helicopters. So it's gonna be decent. Just the usual 2 frontal armor, which is nice, and then 1 all around. So it's nice for getting hit by artillery, because that's normally a pain in the ass. Okay, so we'll move on to infantry, and the Swedes, I think, have some pretty interesting infantry
yeah, some
choices.
interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess first of all, you kind of have to go for these Hemvarns, man.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about how you'd use them?
Well, I would use them. Like, if you actually look at them, I'm zoomed in on one of the characters now. This KGM37 actually looks like a BAR. I think it might be a BAR.
I think it is, yeah, no, I did have a look on his.
So, these guys aren't the kind of troops you want to use for engaging other infantry, you know, like in an attack or something like that. I would use these guys for holding towns and things. Like, even the truck they come with, this TGB M42, it looks like it has some kind of Vickers machine gun on the top of it. It's definitely a water-cooled machine gun. So, yeah. I think you would agree, definitely in a defensive role, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously the availability as well. You can get 32 rookie.
Yeah, 32 is awesome.
24 trained.
The Miniman rocket they come with too isn't the worst thing I've seen being used as anti-tank.
I think that's a standard AT weapon for the infantry anyways. Well, apart from the special forces, which take the colder stuff, but...
Yeah, I think the Miniman's like the Swedish standard AT, so it's not the best, but it's not the worst thing you see. It's no M72 law or whatever. Okay. So next infantry, I guess it's got to be these Panzerskiter guys.
Yes.
Yeah, if we have any Swedish viewers, I apologize for my horrible Swedish pronunciation. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the vehicles they come in? Obviously, there's an interested APC that's prototype for the Swedish.
This APC, well, you get 2 APCs. You get the 30A2 that comes with a 20 mil, which in itself is pretty awesome. But their main, I would say, their infantry fighting vehicle, this Strf 9040. The thing looks like a beast. It kind of looks like a warrior. It comes with a 40mm Bofors gun that has 7 accuracy and 3 AP. And as far as I'm aware, I think you'll agree, Jace, I think that's one of the best AP powers in the game for infantry fighting vehicles, right?
No, actually, I think it's got the same AP power statistic-wise across against like LAVs against Bradleys. But I think it might have 1 more accuracy than an LAV. I can't really remember.
I'm sure this has something better than the other APCs.
Easily. Well, I mean, it's got
4 frontal
armor.
Yeah, 4 frontal, 3 side, and 2 rear. So like, it's not a weak thing. Like, for tank spams, this is just gonna slaughter tank spams. My LAVs slaughter T-55 spams, and they have much worse armor. So, you know, this thing's going in the deck. I'm gonna put one of those in. How many have you got in your deck, Jace?
I've got 20. I've got them trained. Simply because I just want the numbers for the APCs.
How many groups have you got in?
Just one, because I didn't have the alternative of the other APCK, the 302A.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm putting one of those in. I think I might go for 2 of those, actually. 2 of the cheaper APCs. Because, you know, the APC isn't bad in itself. 2 frontal armor, 1 all around. That's pretty decent. It's got a 20mm gun.
Yeah.
That's gonna be able to hold out. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put 2 of those in because I reckon this is gonna be the this looks like it's gonna be the main backbone of the Swedish infantry units. So yeah, I'll put another one of those in. And we still have something else, and I definitely think we're gonna need more AA with the Swedish deck. I know they've got some good AA, which we'll move on to, but I think having infantry carried AA is always good. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we'll go on to the AA in a minute, and we'll point out something that's pretty important.
So, what have you gone for AA-wise with the infantry?
Well, the AA-wise, you only got one option.
Yeah, I mean vehicle.
The vehicle, I just got them in the one with the M42.
Oh,
so the one with the dual Vickers thing. Yeah, I haven't got them in an APC.
They come in they can also come in this TGB thing, which is pretty, you know.
Yeah.
One thing we are leaving out here is the RBS 56. It's the anti-tank infantry. You know, I'm tempted if I've got points, which I think I'm gonna have spare points in this because we're only 9 of 40 right now. Definitely coming back to put that in because with the RBS 56 they have, it's 10 and 26 accuracy, dude.
I mean, this is literally the best anti-tank weapon, well, infantry weapon that the NATO have.
Yeah,
well, NATO, I don't know
NATO
about Conquerors, but it's up there.
It's pretty awesome. It's a chunky looking unit. I just looked at it on the back of the infantryman there. But for now, I'll put one group of, I'm gonna put some AA infantry just in the M42 truck. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to support. Now, support, there's an interesting thing about the Swedes, and it's their gun AA, it is awesome. Now, most people will think, oh, a missile is going to be better than a gun, but as me and you found out earlier, the thing's pretty awesome, right? It outranges the missile variant. I'll just call it the RBS 70, so I don't have to spiel out that name, but it's got its range is 2,800 versus helicopters and aircraft, 8 accuracy, whereas the missile only has 2,450 against helicopters and 1,960 against aircraft, with only 9 accuracy. So, like, I know it's got 1 more accuracy, but that range is going to be a massive advantage.
And another thing to note about the optics, if you have a look, it's got exceptional optics. So I mean, it's probably gonna see fighters or bombers further away than, for example, an anti-aircraft missile would.
The other thing has poor optics. I've never noticed that before. That's a good spot right there. It is radar guided, as far as I can tell. Yeah, it says AOE rad, which I'm sure means radar, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
So it's radar guided, but you know, looking at the cheaper variant of that thing, that VEEK 40, it's also very good, and it's not radar guided as far as I'm aware. So you know, you can have that, you can work those in combination together, and I think that's gonna be a pretty deadly combination. Yeah. So I'm gonna put 2 of the VEEKs in because you get 12 of those, which is pretty awesome. And I'm going for 16 of the LVKVs. What are you going for, Jace?
I've gone two sets of VEEK 40s, and then one set of the LVKV. I haven't got any. I haven't got any anti-aircraft missile. I didn't want to use it. I don't think there's any point.
Now, what about these B-cans? I know you've used them in the past, and you think they are the best.
Oh, I love them. Bread. I mean, if they're 100, let me get my words out. It's 155mm round. Good range. Pretty good accuracy for the gun. And obviously it fires. Well, I mean, the rate of fire is what really stands out for me. It fires 8 rounds a minute, so it really does put down a lot of shells on an area.
I think this is the fastest, like, heavy artillery piece in the game, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
I know historically it was the fastest thing NATO had for quite a while. So yeah, how many of those have you got in?
I originally had 4, but obviously I removed 2 of them to make room for the AA. So I've only got 2 left now.
Okay, well I will just put in 1 because I hardly ever use artillery, so.
Yeah, well I mean 1's enough anyways. I mean it's 8 rounds you're gonna be putting down.
It's a nice salvo. Okay, now onto the tanks. Now, I think the Swedes definitely, they've not got the best tanks in the game, but they have something that stands out from the other tanks, and this is this assault gun type tank. You've used it, so I'll give it to you to explain how you work these things properly.
Well, I mean, it's obviously, by looking at the design, you can obviously see it's a thick sort of gun, sort of like a Stug, you could say. It's if you ever look at the accuracy rating, it's 9 accuracy, so, I mean, if this thing is stationary, it's going to pretty much hit guaranteed, and it's got some decent AP power. However, I mean, if you're driving along a road and you get ambushed, then you can't really defend yourself that well, because obviously it's a fixed gun. But I mean, yeah, it's really good. It is really good. It just obviously lacks the rotation of like a normal turtle would have.
I guess you just need I think it's more of a defensive tank than a offensive tank.
I mean, it could be used in both ways. I mean, if you wanted to do a frontal assault, I mean, this would be ideal. But if you're planning on, you know, flanking, I wouldn't use it at all.
Yeah. So how many of these have you put in your deck then?
Well, I've got 2 sets of, well, I've got 1 set of the 103C, and then I've got 2 sets of the STRV 103B. I'm not quite sure why, but
yeah, I was gonna say.
I see. Availability was the reason why, I think.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good spot. Okay, so I will do that too, since you know I've not had much experience with the Swedish deck. I will follow from you. And now, their normal main battle tank type tank that they have. I think it looks pretty good, you know, the STRV 104. Definitely.
Yeah, the 104.
I think it must be some kind of chieftain variant that looks like it's been up-armored in true Viking style. It's got decent frontal armor, 10 frontal armor, a decent range gun, decent accuracy, and decent AP. So, definitely going to have to put 2 of those in. And that's going to be my main workhorse of my Swedish military, I think.
Yep.
And any other tanks? Do you have any other tanks in?
Well, I've got 2 sets of the 104, and then I had enough room for the 102R. I've put 1 of them in.
Okay.
It's just like my lighter tank.
Yeah, I'll chuck that in. I like the way you say lighter tank. It's probably the exact chassis.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the last one. It is horribly slow off-road, though. I'm looking the speed is 35 off-road.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
That's horribly slow.
I wouldn't use this in an assault anyways.
Yeah.
Use the other one.
Okay, so I think that's enough tanks for now. You know, I'm not going to be that offensive with this deck. Okay, so reconnaissance. They are quite limited. The best thing they seem to have is this Kiowa type thing. I think it must be a Kiowa, right?
Yeah, well, it looks sort of like one. I don't know, it might be, no, it might be something else.
It looks like a Kiowa to me. The HK P6A, yeah, it looks pretty decent. You know, so I guess I'm just gonna use that as my main recon.
Okay, and then I've stuck in the Nel 3304, the unarmored, the ungunned, unarmored little Jeep thing. Truck,
okay.
Little small thing, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Just to have that variation.
I'm looking at its stealth. You know, its stealth is the same as the armored personnel carrier, well, the APC type thing with the 20mm on it. So it's quite funny. I find that, you know.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe it's just an incorrect stat in the game. It might be something different.
Maybe, yeah, that could be. I'm looking at the reconnaissance infantry. You know, they come with a Carl Gustaf anti-tank gun, which is better than the anti-tank guns anti-tank rocket that almost all of the Norwegian infantry come with. So I might put them in the deck because it could be pretty good. You know, they've got decent optics too. They've got very good optics, which is the same as the vehicle we're putting in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, it's a 5-man squad. I mean, the only recon units I use is the Rangers.
You actually get 8 of them, which is more than you get of the little vehicle, and they could actually be pretty good at fighting. You know, I'm looking at the machine gun. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna put one of these in because
put them in. I mean, you got enough room for them anyways.
Yeah. Okay. So vehicles. Now, the Swedes have some interesting looking stuff that looks like they might have stolen some of this from the Germans from World War II. This thing kind of looks like a Hetzer that's got elephant man disease.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem is it looks pretty horrendous stats wise, so I'm not even gonna touch that.
Yeah, I wouldn't myself.
This IKV91 thing, once again, it looks awesome, but armor-wise and ratings not so good. So, again,
it's quite quick off-road.
Yeah, it is pretty quick off-road. Yeah,
So you could use this as a flanking sort of, I don't know, maybe.
Even just to fight in trees and stuff, as long as you're not taking too many hits. Well, we've got a lot of points here to spend on this, you know, 1 point isn't going to cost you much. So the first thing I'm going to go for, though, is the toe variant, the eye toe that they have, you know.
Yeah, I got 2 sets of them.
Yeah, I've got 2 sets of those. And then I'm just going to chuck one of those IKV Night 1s in, I think. Yeah, I'll go for that. So I'll chuck one of those in. Okay, so that's gonna do me for vehicles. I'm not willing to spend 2 on anything else. Helicopters, you're really spoiled for choice here. It's gonna be a very hard decision to pick what vehicle you want. So yeah, I'm just going for
I mean, I got 1 set. Yeah, we can get 1 set anyways.
Yeah, you know, yeah. Okay, now planes. Now the Swedish planes are really hard to understand well for me anyway.
Yeah. For me it was
quite limited. They're quite limited to what they got, but and I don't think I'm gonna. I know you can. I've seen Swedish aircraft rush decks being used well, but I'm not good at that kind of gameplay. So I'm just gonna go easy. What aircraft would you suggest, Jace?
Well, I don't really like the Swedish aircraft for some reason. Maybe it's just some bad experiences. But I mean, I've got 2 sets of the JA-37 Viggen, however you pronounce it. Which is the 120 to call in. It's basically similar to the F-15. It's a fighter. It's got 6,300 range with its missile. But you only get 2 missiles, unfortunately, and then it's obviously got 4.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are, like infrared missiles. But yeah, I mean it's okay.
Okay, I think I'm gonna put the AJ-37 in too. You know the Viggen, the other Viggen.
Yeah, I've got that for ground attacks.
I'm just going to put one of those in. And I think that'll be all the aircraft I put in. Because I really want to go back and put in some more infantry.
Yep.
So I'm going to jump back and put in...
I'd highly recommend the AT infantry.
Yeah, I'm going to put in these guys in something. I don't know what I'm trying to decide what yet. Yeah, okay. I'll put them in the PVGR RB. The little cheap APC that they come in. So I'll get 8 of those. And so that's that full. You're limited on the amount of infantry you can have, and I'm quite a big infantry user. I've just noticed their special force squads are pretty large.
How big are they?
I don't know.
Oh, that's 15, isn't it?
15, yeah, that's 15. Yeah, strength 15. That's a rather decent sized squad there, and it seems to be like the only infantry of theirs that comes in helicopters too, if you want that. But I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and get some of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, you only get like 6 of them though.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Right.
It's the only thing I could put in more anti-aircraft.
If they were like the Royal Marines, then I mean, you get 12 of them. I mean, the Royal Marines are the best infantry for me. I love
the Royal Marines. Well, I don't know. Actually, you know what? Stuff. I'm gonna put another bacon in. Another bacon. A bacon? A beacon.
Bacon. Yeah. I think that's pronounced it.
Yeah. I don't know. Someone beacon. Swedish, please explain us how to pronounce that. I have a Norwegian sub and a Danish sub who comes in TeamSpeak, but they're not Swedish, so I need Swedish people, please. The only problem is I'm gonna get left with 1 activation point. So what I'm gonna do is I'll do what I was gonna do. I'll put in another anti-aircraft, yeah, and then.
Well, if you wanted to, you could put a recon in, couldn't you? Put a recon squad in.
Yeah.
You talking about earlier.
True. But I've got 3 recons, so my next one's gonna cost me 2. I'm gonna put another recon in, and then I've got 2 more points. So I'm gonna put in. No, did I put another recon in? Yeah. No, I put another infantry in. I'm losing myself. And I'm gonna go ahead and put another logistics in, because lately I've been using up so much logistics. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so overall it's a pretty decent deck. I'll do a quick overview of it and then we can say how we feel about it.
Well, I mean, you could just talk about the main selling points. I don't think you need to go over too much. I mean, obviously you've got the anti-tank infantry weapon, which is the major selling point for the Swedish.
Yeah, I think another selling point for them is support. They really excel in the support role. They've got those beacon things, and they've got some great gun AA. It's unusual to see that. I think this might even be more promising than the Tunguska. So, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I'm not that far, but
I don't know,
it'd be
man.
interesting to see how effective they are.
I don't know. I've stopped liking Tunguskas recently. I used to use them all the time. Their infantry, once again, because they come in that great APC,
Oh, the APC is a massive selling point. I love that thing.
They're quite promising. Like, you know, it's going to be hard to win my heart over from the Bradleys, because the Bradley is just a monster, you know, with the toe and the Bushmaster. It definitely puts boot to ass quite often. But yeah, so overall, a pretty decent deck, and I think we'll end it there.
Yeah.